The job market in the UK is, well, not good. Whether you are employed or unemployed, I'm sure that you are aware of the state of the current job market in the country. It's not just tech roles that are massively affected. It's not just my industry, which I am in journalism, is at the whole spectrum of the job market. I know teachers are having difficulties to find jobs, doctors are having difficulties to have jobs, and they are being fired as well. Nurses, which kind of surprised me a lot, because if I know something about the UK government, is the massive effort they have been doing for the last 6-7 years at least, to encourage people to get into the healthcare industry because the NHS need it. But there's no money. It's not the lack of professionals, it's a lack of funding, a lack of interest and motivation to work in conditions that are not good. I would say in the case of teachers and nurses and doctors, for example, that depends on the funds of the government. So if the professionals that are needed the most in a society are hardly working, are finding difficult to find jobs, what is the hope for the rest of us? In my case, I come from Spain, and I left Spain in 2016 to move to the UK. One of the reasons was actually the lack of opportunities. I remember spending like a year, almost 2 years, sending 50, 100 CVs per day. I didn't really care where, as long as it was a job. It could be fast food change, it could be internships, it could be any kind of role in my city, outside of my city, in the other side of the country, everywhere, literally. And I remember that impact my mental health so bad that I think I'm kind of, how do you say it in English? I could be worse in this scenario I'm living, which is unemployed. But because of my previous experience in Spain, I'm thinking that I'm handling quite well. Because I know how hard it is to not have a job. Your life comes to like oppose all projects or ideas or goals and aims. You feel that you cannot be independent, and it's not because you don't want, it's because you can't have the economical means that come from a job. So I would say I'm handling quite well. I have, some anxiety and things like that, but it's because of who I am and how I am, not only because of the state of the job market. And I really understand the people who, especially recent graduates, that are feeling like there's no hope for them, because it's really, really hard. I mean, it's quite obviously, in Spain, I suffered the consequences of the 2008 crisis in 2016. So Spain has a different economy, and it took us really a long time to recover from the impact of the financial crisis in 2008. But also, again, Spain has another economy, so salaries are low. The opportunities are different. The job market is not as flexible as in the UK. So coming to the UK and being able to start to work immediately was like a kind of a dream, even if that meant to start from zero. And I wouldn't say it's sad, but it's just surprising, and it can have like an impact on me, not in a good way, because for us, UK has been always like, well, you always gonna have an opportunity, and it's not like that anymore. Bear in mind, I'm not competing with, again, my industry's journalism. So I have been here in the UK almost a decade, and I have put my effort to improve my English. But still, for example, I wouldn't be able to work at a TV program because I still have a bit of accent. I wouldn't be able to work in breaking news because I don't trust myself. I would not make any typos. So again, I'm not competing with the jobs that another British person will apply for because it's in my industry, because it's really difficult to beat that, especially if you don't have a big portfolio. The jobs I'm applying is the ones I have an advantage, so like they require Spanish, they require the experience that I have, and it's still surprising that I'm not even called for an interview. There was this job a month ago that it was to edit and proofread content that has been translated from English to Spanish, and I didn't even get an interview just because they were not looking for, but they probably just choose somebody who has some knowledge of football, because I think it was for one of the football leagues. They are looking for somebody who speaks Spanish at native level, because you need to proofread and edit. And, there's not a lot of people who can do that. So I'm not competing with the whole British population in my industry. I'm probably competing with other Spanish native speakers. And I was still not selected. So it's like, okay, so if for a job that I tick 99% of the requirements, I'm not even called for an interview. I'm not saying hired, but not even called for an interview. And this second video is also one of the reasons why I'm starting this channel. As I mentioned in my first video, I wanted to start publishing videos in which I was explaining the reasons behind starting this channel, and the current state of the job market in the UK is actually one of them. In my case, personally, when I actually filter and look for jobs where I could be a profile, it's mostly AI, and not like you have to write using AI, no, like more like supervise and edit and correct the AI. And I wouldn't say something bad, but it's just that kind of jobs are freelance. They are paid hourly, like the same I would be earning as a barista, because bear in mind, I worked as a barista when I moved here. And it's just like, I wouldn't mind to do it if it was well paid, but it's just the jobs where you work with AI and writing are not well paid either, So, and they are highly competitive because they don't really require anybody who has a degree in journalism or anything specific, because you have to do some assessment. Anyway, that's one of the reasons. Like, we know what are the reasons behind what is happening in the job market. Is not only the lack of funding in the public sector, is also the rise of taxes and national insurance, is AI. I have listened to other videos, and they said like there is plenty of ghost jobs. I'm not really sure if I have faced some of this, maybe. And then the thing is, some of the jobs they don't pay a good salary. And I don't mean like I want something, but it's just like if you're paying me for something that requires me to go to the office, but you are not paying the cost of commuting to that office, because if you are offering me 24, 28,000, something like that, and you know that transport in London is at least 300 per month, what is the point? You cannot have both, because that is a salary for somebody who is just starting, and yeah, and still maybe lives with his parents or her parents and is just a recent graduate. But it's not the salary for somebody who has some experience and lives in London, because I really don't understand what is going on with the job market. And what has surprised me the most is that it is happening in the UK. Like, if you tell me this is happening in Spain, I would say, yeah, I believe you. But in the UK, that's the shocking thing. So again, obviously, managing and thinking what are the different options, whether to leave the UK, go somewhere else, change careers, go back to Spain. I don't know. I cannot keep myself here indefinitely, because at some point I will run out of savings and things. And at the same time, I realized that it is hard to depend on a job. And again, here I come with the reason again to start this channel. I don't want to depend on a job. I would say I've been freelancing most of my professional career, and just the last couple of years I worked full time for a company, and I don't really like it. And I don't really like it. I don't really enjoy working for others. Well, it depends on the company. I don't really enjoy the office environment, I would say. It's not for me. As a writer and a journalist, I enjoy working in silence, preferably in the early mornings. I enjoy working alone and independently. And that's not what is a corporate job. So at some point, I just realized that I don't think I fit in a job like that. Still, I'm gonna still looking for it, because I need to eat and pay bills and things like that. But I'm also starting to do what I've been delaying for years, which is putting myself out there, creating my own thing, and just give it a shot. And if something of that is a success, or it gives me something or opens some doors, then it's great. But we have been taught to be realistic, and realistic means an office Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. But what happens when realistic is not realistic anymore? Because it's not working. The system is not working. The job market is not working. So it is time to stop being realistic and getting back to be a dreamer.